Okay, let's dive into something that might feel a bit backwards at first. We're often told, be assertive, have strong opinions, loudness gets rewarded.
Right. It seems like the loudest voice wins.
But what if the real power, the actual strategic advantage, comes from, well, understanding,
Mm,
not just shouting?
that's a great point. It reminds me of that Bill Bullard quote.
Exactly. Opinion is really the lowest form of human knowledge, that one.
Yeah, it requires no accountability, no understanding. It's just
Yeah.
out there.
Whereas the highest form, he says, is empathy.
And that tension, that's what we're getting into today, right? Opinion versus actual empathy.
Precisely. Bullard's quote really flips the script on what we think of as strength.
It does. An opinion feels strong, maybe, but it doesn't ask much of us. Empathy, though, that takes real work, active engagement with how someone else sees things.
Totally. And for you listening, if you're trying to get real insights quickly, this is key. We want to show you why empathy isn't just some fluffy, soft skill. It's actually fundamental for innovation, for building teams that, really click, for communication that lands,
It's about gaining an edge by understanding others, not just pushing your own view.
especially now. Think about it, the sheer volume of opinions online, everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. It's saturated, amplified by algorithms even.
So what actually cuts through all that noise?
Genuine understanding, I think, that human connection, it's becoming rarer, more valuable.
Okay, so in this deep dive, first up, let's really sharpen the difference between just having an opinion and actively practicing empathy.
Good starting point.
Then we'll look at how that difference changes everything in creative work, in building a brand.
And leadership, too, right? It's being called out as critical now.
Yes, exactly. Why leaders need it, especially looking ahead. And crucially, we'll give you some practical ways, things you can actually do to cultivate more empathy day to day.
Things people can try right away.
And finally, why this human ability stays vital, even, maybe especially, with AI becoming so much more capable.
That's a big question, isn't it? In a world where opinions are cheap, maybe even AI generated, what's the unique power of human empathy?
The source material really digs into this. It stresses that empathy is active.
Right. It takes cognitive effort. You have to consciously step outside your own frame, challenge your own biases, which isn't always comfortable.
Exactly. An opinion often just springs from bias or a gut reaction, doesn't need much digging.
Uh-huh.
Empathy, that's deliberate. You're seeking to understand feelings, needs, how someone else views the world.
And that's where AI, powerful as it is, hits a wall, right?
Yeah, AI can process data, spot patterns, even mimic tone.
It can analyze sentiment, sure, but it can't feel. It doesn't have that lived experience that underpins real empathy.
It can't truly grasp another's emotional state like a person can.
Okay, so let's bring this down to earth. Make it practical.
Yeah, where the rubber meets the road for your work. Think about the creative process. When you tackle a problem, designing something, writing a message, whatever, using empathy first, it changes the whole game.
It really does. It stops being just about your vision, what you want to say.
The question shifts, doesn't it?
Completely. It moves from what do I want to put out there to what's the audience actually feeling? What do they need? What experience am I trying to connect with?
That subtle shift. That's where the really resonant work comes from.
It's about actively imagining yourself in their shoes, not just looking at demographics.
And it builds real brand loyalty, right? Not just data points.
Exactly. It's about those authentic moments where people feel genuinely seen and understood. That builds trust, a deeper relationship.
Okay, let's pivot to leadership then. The source material makes a strong case for empathy being non-negotiable there.
Yeah, especially now. Leaders who get empathy, they tend to have teams that are more engaged.
People stick around longer too, right? Higher retention.
Definitely. And maybe most importantly, it creates fertile ground for innovation.
And the how behind that, the mechanism, seems to be psychological safety.
That's what the source points to. When people feel their boss actually listens, values their view, gets their
It
struggles.
feels safer.
Exactly. Safer to take risks, throw out ideas, be themselves. The fear of being judged goes down.
And collaboration goes up. Innovation thrives.
Plus, think about today's work world. Remote teams, digital communication.
Yeah, it's more complex.
So a leader's ability to connect, to understand different styles and situations, it's not just nice. It's core to managing effectively, to the whole organization succeeding.
Okay, so we get the why. Empathy is powerful. Let's talk how.
The practical stuff.
Yes, the source gives some really concrete starting points, things you, the listener, can actually use.
And what's good is they're pretty simple, things you can apply straight away.
Like active listening in meetings, Really focusing on what someone's saying, not just waiting to jump in with your reply.
Creating that mental space to really absorb their point, their perspective underneath.
It's that shift. Listening to understand, not just to respond. Big difference.
Huge. Another technique mentioned is about planning.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of just mapping user steps like click here, buy this.
Map their emotional journey.
Exactly. What are they feeling at each point? Frustration, excitement, motivation. Adds a whole human layer.
And that deeper understanding makes for better design, better solutions.
Definitely. The source also talks about validation. Don't just rely on broad data.
Talk to real people. Hear their stories.
Yes. Ground your ideas in actual human experiences. Avoids making bad assumptions based on generalizations.
Makes sense. And one more. Feedback. Giving and getting it.
This one's simple but powerful. Just ask yourself, what am I not seeing from their point of view?
That little pause for reflection.
Yeah, it can immediately widen your perspective, help you see the situation and them more clearly.
Okay, looking ahead now. AI. It's advancing like crazy.
It really is. And integrating more and more into work.
So the source raises this interesting point. Yeah. What makes human work truly valuable as AI gets better?
And the argument seems to be empathy.
Right. As AI handles more technical stuff, data crunching.
Our uniquely human ability to connect emotionally, to understand unspoken needs, that becomes the premium skill.
So the people, the brands, the leaders who can forge those genuine connections,
Yeah.
they'll stand out.
That's the idea. They'll resonate in a way AI can't, even if the AI is generating tons of content.
Because AI can augment us, process faster, but it can't replicate that deep, human-centered understanding.
Right. It doesn't feel the connection. Empathy becomes the signal cutting through the AI noise. It connects with real human experience.
Okay, so let's pull this all together, the main takeaway.
It's really about shifting, moving from just sort of reactively having opinions.
To proactively, deliberately cultivating empathy.
Yeah, and it's not about just being nice, it's strategic.
Empathy drives better creative work because you're focused on the audience's feelings.
And it builds stronger teams through that psychological safety, better communication.
And looking forward, in an AI world, it's a key human differentiator.
And for you listening, wanting those practical steps, remember those things we talked about.
Active listening.
Mapping emotional journeys, not just actions.
Grounding ideas in real stories.
And always asking, what might I be missing from their side?
Small shifts, but they can make a big difference over time.
Absolutely.
Which leads us to a final thought to leave you with. It's pulled straight from the source material. Before you launch the next project, product, or pitch, pause. Ask, whose world am I willing to step into?
That's powerful.
Because true leadership and creativity aren't about being right. They're about being resonant.
So maybe the question for you to reflect on is this. What's one moment, just one, where trying to be empathetic actually changed a decision you made or the path you took?
Something to consider as you move forward.